Hey guys, it's Steve for CollectorMania. I am here continuing the 32 series. We are on to Grixis-Green, which is Yidris Maelstrom Wielder. This guy's pretty cool. He's been used in a lot of Storm combo decks, stuff like that. I decided to go a little bit different turn on it. It's actually Tribal Wizards, so it's a lot of fun. Just kind of a wacky approach to it, I'd say. So we've got Yidris, of course. He is a 5/4 with Trample. Legendary Org Wizard, which is an interesting creature type. Whenever Yidris Maelstrom Wielder deals combat damage to a player, as you cast spells from your hand this turn, they gain Cascade. So, really cool effect. I really like Cascade. I actually have a dedicated 5-color Cascade deck, so I didn't want to do that. So that's why I kind of went the tribal theme here. Once again, just a fun effect. So with that, let's get into our first Planeswalker here. We've got Sark and Unbroken. One of 3 tricolor Planeswalkers. Really good for essentially, like, what, is it 3 now or is there 4 now? I guess there's 2 Nicol Boluses, so I guess technically 4. Yeah, there's Tamiyo, there's Sarkin, there's 2 Nicol Boluses. So yeah, anyway. So really cool card. +1, draw a card, then add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. In a 4-color deck, that can be really relevant. -2, put a 4/4 red dragon creature token on with flying onto the battlefield. Really cool ability. -8, search your library for any number of dragon creature cards which will not come in play at any point in this build. I think there's Niv-Mizzet, and that's it. So anyway, cool Planeswalker. Really like him. I love the artwork. Once again, just awesome. Because I think it's him saving Ugin, so plus. Okay, with that, we'll break into our creatures here. I guess tribal wizard commander in her own right. We've got Nin the Pain Artist, really cool card. I remember Eric's brother, had a 1v1 list with this chick, and it was absolutely impressive. I mean, I never even thought about how you just ping your own creatures and just draw a bunch of cards, and you just don't care, because you're just like, well, this guy's a 1/4, blah, blah, blah. So that's the thing with this deck. There's a lot of creatures with big butts, so really cool card. So that's Nin the Pain Artist, one of our big draw engines. Then we've got a Stony Brook Banneret. Island Walk, Merfolk spells, and Wizard spells you play cost 1 colorless less. So really effective for just getting your creatures out a little bit quicker. Basically everything in here is a wizard. There are a few other merfolk, so that even kind of stacks. So really cool. 2-cost little guy. Then we've got Cassetto Orochi Archmage, which it's kind of funny that this is actually a snake wizard. I didn't even realize that until I was putting this deck together and looking, in the gallery for wizards. Really relevant ability here. It gives your commander unblockable, which you want to happen because you want to get that cascade going. So a lot of fun. I've definitely won a few games with this, just giving him unblockable. So, and then of course you can buff herself and give her +2/+2 and unblockable and all that fun stuff. So there's that. Then we've got one of our main win conditions, Laboratory Maniac. There's a lot of ways to just kind of draw your entire deck in this deck, just in the course of several turns. So having a Laboratory Maniac, just being able to throw him down and then just win the game that way is always fun. We've got a Sage of Fables. Each other wizard creature you control enters play with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Sorry. Then you can pay to remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature you control. Draw a card. There are a few cards in here that do kind of deal with +1/+1 counters, and there are definitely a lot of ways to put +1/+1 counters on stuff. So this is just another draw engine. So really cool. Then we've got a Sigil Tracer. Pay 2, tap 2 untapped wizards you control, copy target instant or sorcery speed spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Really cool. Unfortunately, you're not getting the cascade off of that because you are copying it instead of casting it, so there's all that, so don't get confused there, but lots of fun. And then we've got a Jalira, Master Polymorphist. There are a lot of really early game wizards in here that can definitely be upgraded late game, so you just, sacrifice one of them and then go get a even better wizard, at chance, of course, but usually works out in your favor, so really cool card. And then we've got a Marchesa the Black Rose. Now this works in combo with the card that I was talking about with +1/+1 counters. Really fun card to just kind of bring your entire team back in a lot of ways. I thought it, once again, I didn't even realize that she was a human wizard until I did this search, so works perfect for wizard tribal. Really cool. Then we've got a Mizzix of the Ismagus. Of course, this is one of the big breakout commanders of this set. It does a lot of degenerate things, just makes your spells cost like next to nothing, and you just keep going up the chain and just doing crazy stuff. Really effective in the deck. I love that it's a Goblin Wizard. I think that's a fun creature type as well. So there's that. Then we've got a Zombie Wizard, Havengul Lich, one of my favorite cards of all time. Really good for just bringing back anything that you want, you know, as long as, and you're playing 4 colors, so usually you can pay the cost for it, you know, unless somebody has a white creature in the graveyard or whatever. But really fun, love the artwork. Yeah, that was a good time in Magic, it really was. Then we've got Nekusar, the Mind Razor. This, with the Laboratory Maniac, is another win condition, because once again, there are a ton of ways to just draw out your entire deck, but while you're doing that, you're usually drawing out everybody's deck. So like Whispering Madness, effects like that, a bunch of wheel spells. So Nekusar is great in this deck. Usually the hard part is protecting him in here, but you know, that's I guess the challenge in any deck that just has, you know, crucial pieces in it. And then we've got a Riku of 2 Reflections. Once again, really effective. It's great for copying creatures, but where we utilize it here is copying the spells. Like just casting double whatever is amazing. So I love getting him out early and then just casting your mana ramp doubled. Like that's perfect in my opinion. So there's that guy, and obviously he can be used as a commander by himself, and he's great. So then we've got Una, Queen of the Fae. I think a lot of people cringe when they see this card because they know exactly what it does. And in this deck, you can definitely generate the amount of mana that you need to just like wipe somebody out with it, and then just have an army of fairies. I love like when somebody is playing monocolored against me when I'm playing this card, because you're just like, yeah, I choose you, Pikachu. So there's that. Okay, so on from creatures, we've got 1 feature artifact, and that is Glaring Spotlight. This is mainly in here to be able to target your opponent's hexproof stuff. It's really good for that, but it's also in here for the -3, sacrifice Glaring Spotlight. Creatures you control gain hexproof until end turn and are unblockable this turn. So once again with Yidris, you want to get in for that Cascade. There are a few crucial turns where you can set up and just win the game if you get enough Cascade triggers off, because it doesn't necessarily always matter what spells you're casting as long as you're casting them, if that makes any sense at all. So Glaring Spotlight, really kind of a wacky card that I don't see a lot of people play, so I really just wanted to feature it here just because it's different, it's unique, so there you go. On from artifacts, we've got our enchantments. First up is a Soothsaying. I don't have enough money to have a Divining Top in all of my decks, so this is kind of like a alternative to that, but I would say in a deck like this, an addition. So I would play top and this card. I think I probably just need to bite the bullet and get a top for this as well. Just being able to set up your cascades is super important. Scroll Rack is another one that comes to mind, of course, because that even lets you set it up even better, you know. But yeah, Soothsaying, super cool card. It's gone up a little bit because I think people are catching on to it, but for now, I would just try and get your copies, and then before it shoots up to like $15, like most of these cards usually do. So yeah, Soothsaying, really cool. Cost 1, yeah. And then we've got a Future Sight. Being able to see the top card is super important for the Cascade, but also being able to just play cards from the top sometimes is important as well. Especially if you hit with the Yidris and then you have no cards in hand, that feels really bad. Because then you're just like, well, I can't Cascade, so But then, you know, you have this, and then you just reveal whatever off the top, and yeah, really cool. Artwork's really interesting, actually. I don't even know what's really going on here, but they definitely took creative license here, which I'm happy about. Okay, so from enchantments, we'll go into our instant speed spells. We've got a Psychic Spiral. I have talked about this before, but it is one of my favorite ways to fight against mill. Like, you can usually just finish off the mill player with this card because they don't see it coming. They're just like, well, I'll mill you for blah, 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 and then you're just like, well, with that on the stack, I'll just mill you back, I guess. And then usually it's for a ton because you're playing against, you know, like Daxos, or not Daxos, what am I thinking of? The blue, yeah, Phoenix, there we go. That whole Theros thing. But yeah, really cool card, love it, super effective for what you're using it for, plus sometimes it can just get you that reshuffle that you're looking for, so. There is that, and then we've got Slumgar's Command. I know we just talked about this card in our Atraxa video, but it is super good. The modes are amazing. Like, it deals with pretty much every problem you would ever have, like being able to kill a creature, bounce a non-permanent back, counter a non-creature spell, destroy a planeswalker. I mean, it's got all the answers right there, essentially. Okay, and then our last instant feature is Supplant Form. This card's actually a lot of fun, especially if you can copy it with Riku. Because then you gotta remember that you're making a token copy of the creature, so you're getting that as well as bouncing something back to their hand. So it can be really fun. I've done Eldrazi with this, and then it's just like, oh god, yeah, it doesn't seem so bad costing 6 at that point, especially once again with the amount of cards that lower costs of spells in this deck. Like, I think we have Baral, Goblin Electromancer, all those cards that just make sense in something like this. Okay, so on from instants, we've got our sorcery speed spells. First up is a Call to Mind. I love this card. Just being able to grab back a crucial instant or sorcery speed spell from your graveyard is always important, so I recommend it pretty much in every deck. There are a few upgraded versions of this that you could definitely play, but I think this one's just, simple, super efficient, so there you go. Going back to like the Nikusar and the Laboratory Maniac, things like Windfall are super important. It's definitely, one of my favorite cards for this type of effect. Once again, just super cheap, super effective, does exactly what you want it to do. Then we've got a Past in Flames. With all these cycling cards, like just dumping our hand and drawing a new hand, being able to like have that breakout turn where you Past in Flames, then you just cast all the instant sorceries is great as well. So really important in here. Plus, it having flashback helps you even set up even further. So there's that. Then we've got a card that should be in any blue deck, and that's Rider Replication. It just wins games out of nowhere all the time, and I've seen it happen a million times. So yeah, Rider Replication, awesome. Then Unexpected Results. This is a fun thing to cascade with because it gets kind of funny, just the way the stack works and all that stuff. But overall, this card is great. I love it for ramping because, I mean, sometimes like you'll just hit like 2 lands and then it just keeps coming back to your hand. So really cool card, wacky as heck. It's been out for a while and I've definitely played it for quite a bit now. Key card here, Whispering Madness. You just really want to stick this on Yidris and just keep swinging at people, because then all of a sudden you're doing the whole like, well, dump my hand, draw a new hand, then you can cascade a whole bunch of new spells, and it's just great. Especially with that Laboratory Maniac win condition or the Nikusar win condition. So there's that. We've got Extract from Darkness, one of my favorite recursion spells, because it doesn't only recur the stuff in your graveyard, but it recurs the stuff in everybody else's graveyard. So you just choose one. Doesn't really matter, who it is or what it is. You can just bring it back. So yeah, Extract from Darkness, really cool card. Recommend getting copies of it. I think it's in Conspiracy, and then it's in one of the Master sets as well. So kind of harder to find. And then we've got Grave Upheaval. This is another really fun recursion spell, not only because it does recur and then give the creature haste, so that's important, but it also has land cycling on it. So if you're just down on lands, which happens a lot in 4-color decks, you can just go find that forest that you're missing and just pay 2. So sometimes that's all it is for you. So yeah. Plus the higher cascade spells are a lot of fun as well. Like having 6 cascade is usually where you want to be anyway. So there's that. We only have 2 feature lands here. One is Opal Palace. Being able to make Yidris bigger because of the trample is actually really effective. It helps us get through for that damage that's really important to, of course, cascade with. I know a lot of builds will run things that give double strike and stuff like that, which I'm still trying to work in there at some point. My list to me is so solid that it's hard to justify putting in things that either A, give me double combat phases or double strike. I know they're important. One day they'll get in there. I'm just kind of working on it. But yeah, Opal Palace, really cool. Can make Yidris a lot stronger really quick, actually, depending on how many times. Like, I've cast this guy like 8 times before, so, well, not 8 times literally, that'd be insane, but like, 3 or 4 times. And then our other feature card, land card, is Rocky Tar Pit. Now, this is a budget alternative to fetch lands, and that's kind of what I wanted to key in on here. There are 5 of these. They're older, so they're maybe a little bit hard to find, but they're super cheap, so they're easy to find. Think about it this way. It's like playing an Evolving Wilds in a lot of ways, because you are waiting till your next turn, but with this Evolving Wilds, you can fix your color to be essentially whatever you want, because you can grab your Blood Crypt, you can grab your whatever. It doesn't matter because of the way the card is, worded. So, really fun card. I recommend it if you're looking for budget cards. So, anyway, that is Yidris. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and as always, you can check the tapped out list on Tapped Out. We'll have a link for it, and we'll catch you next time, guys.